So on this very gloomy day, I thought I could show my day planner. I've had many questions about where I got it from, did I make it, how did I make it? So I thought I could just make a little video on how I made it from beginning to end, from designing it on InDesign and to the finished product, which is this. So I will just go ahead and show you guys my InDesign kind of tutorial on how I did it. And then I'll come back to how I got it from there to this. So I created my layout of my day planner in InDesign, and what I did first was just create little rectangles, and with that I just used the rectangle tool and changed it to a dotted line. I also put the weight on 0.1 millimeters, so it meant that it was very light and didn't overpower anything else on the page, as all I wanted it for was a kind of outline to write my days in. Then what I did was write the little text boxes with the days of the week in it, and on the last 8th rectangle I wrote a to-do list. So what I could do at the start of every week was just write a list that I could add to during the week, or cross things off, or at the end of the week I could move them over, and I'll show you the code for that later on. Then what I did was do these little dashes, so that meant each day I could write the date and the month, or at the start of each week I'd write all the date and the month. And that meant that I didn't have to write them on the computer for every single day of the year. I could just print off this one page over and over and over again, and I was able to just write it in. Then I did a little checklist of the things I wanted to tick off every single day. So if I read a chapter of the Bible, I'll tick it off. A chapter of a book, I'll tick it off. And if I've watched a tutorial or a documentary, I'd tick it off. That's a really cool way to kind of keep you accountable and show your progress with doing things like that every single day, or to see what you're not doing, see what you're missing out on, and see what you need to change. I used a typewriter font. It's called Another Typewriter. I'm not sure if I got it from Typekit, which is something that you pay for during your Adobe subscription, but I'm pretty sure it was from that. I'm not too sure, I've had it for a long time. But I used a typewriter font so it matched my typewriter words, my little notes on the other pages, and also because it kind of kept the theme nice and it looks really nice printed on my paper. I also made sure my page was an A5 page so it fits the planner that I had. And I also just created a page up here, which I'm not going to show because it has my details on it, but I just had it as my name, my number, and my address in case I ever lost my day planner and I wanted someone to be able to get it back to me. Alright, so after I've done it up on InDesign, I just printed off on this paper. I think it was 100 DSM paper. I just got it from Officeworks. The colour I chose just because I like that theme, and it went with my whole typewriter type theme, and I just thought it would look really nice. So what I did was I got A4 paper and I cut it in half. I printed my A5 sheets on there, and then what I wanted to do was mark out where I needed the holes to put it in my spiral notebook. So what I got was just this really cheap little Spyrex notebook from Officeworks, I think, as well. And what I did was I just took out the scrap paper from the inside, and the paper from the inside, and I used it as scrap paper, and I marked out where all the holes need to be and put these papers into the spiral. So this way I had my own little notebook that I've created, but it was protected by a hard cover. So I'll just run you through what I do every single day. So on Monday of the first week, I will go through and mark out anything I know I have that week, little notes that I need to bring, $10 for design industry, so I need to bring some money for my class. I'll have things I have on, at what time, conferences I might have gone to, and on a Sunday is normally when my assignments are due, so I'll write my assignments in kind of a little code so I remember what class and what assignment is due. I also have a to-do list of all the things I need to do in the week, and what I do to mark that off is I have a little dot when I write it, and then I cross it off and a little cross when I've finished it. Now if I haven't finished it, what I'll do is just write a little arrow and then I'll move it on to the next week. So it means that no task is ever forgotten, but I don't have to complete them by that week unless they're priority. And if they're priority, I put little exclamation marks just to make myself remember that they need to be done. As you can see, I have marked off when I've read a book, a chapter of a book, when I've watched a tutorial, when I read the chapter of a Bible, things like that. I also, at the end of the book, have a kind of month at a glance type page. Now, I didn't show you how I made that on InDesign, but it's pretty straightforward. It's obviously just a grid where I put in the days of the week and then just write in the month and the days that it is. And then I can just cross it off and I can look at and know exactly when the day of the week is. I also like to have this sitting up on my desk like this because it meant that I could just look up from whatever I'm doing, see exactly what the day was and if I had anything on. The next thing to show in this journal is my little notes that I have here, little positivity or little poems just that I put in on a Monday morning just to kind of read throughout the week and get a little bit of positive vibe every single day. In this week I wrote, "You have the ability to feel any way you choose to be happy." Now I write it up on my typewriter, which I got for about $200 from a guy who takes typewriters and fixes them up and then resells them with new ribbons. He's really awesome. So I will show you how I do that little process and then I stick it in the book. So this is my beloved typewriter. This is from the guy who fixes up typewriters, so it works beautifully. I do have two other typewriters that I got at, one a throwout and two my granddad gave me. I think he got from a garage sale. I'm not sure if they work because I haven't gotten any new ribbons for them. So at the moment I just use this one. Now it's a bit tricky to get out of the box, it's very heavy. Alright, so here's my typewriter. Now what I do is I just get craft paper. This is just cheap craft paper. There's not much of an explanation to it. And I rip off a little bit that I'm going to write my little note on. Then I just put it in and I just roll it in my paper. Now I go back to the start. I kind of choose a place to start, obviously. It's not going to fit in any margins because it's very, it's all ripped and ragged, so it's not going to fit in anything, but I can just choose where I want to have it. And then I choose a poem. I might go online and find a poem I like, or I'll go and I'll find just a nice saying in one of my books. I have a really lovely book that my nan gave me, and it has a lot of nice sayings in it about the ocean. That's very special to me. So I'll just choose one that I really like. Right now I'll choose this little poem, this little saying that I found in one of those, in the book my nan gave me, and it says, "You don't go into something to test the waters, you do it to make waves." So after I've typed up my little quote, I just rip off the little excess pieces and tape it into my book. So here's my little saying I've got there, and it will be at the start of the week that I get to read it every single time I go. And this is really helpful as well when I was in college, because when I was starting out I was a bit nervous and I wanted to make a difference. You know, I was doing graphic design and I wanted to, you know, kind of stand out. So that's why this quote was really inspiring at the start of my new trimester, to be like, hey, get out there and do something. So that is the end of the little day planner tutorial. I'm going to go and drink the rest of my coffee that I still have not drunk yet, which is probably cold, and enjoy the rest of this rainy day.